Joining us are Dr. Ivyenka, CEO of HyPoint, and Gary Agnew, CEO of Ideon Technologies. Please help me welcome our startups. So these questions are for both of you. Can both of you take turns telling us about your startup and what is that big problem that you're trying to solve?
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Scott, for that invitation. I'm really happy to be there in that room and present, and really happy to tell you about our company and what we do. So let me share the screen. It's a couple of slides. Hi again, everyone. My name is Dr. Ivyenka. I'm the co-founder and CEO of HyPoint. We make zero-emission air transport possible. So today, the main issue with transportation is that they provide you a lot of greenhouse gas emissions. So you should solve the problem of climate change only using zero CO2 emission electric vehicles. But the arrival of this type of vehicles have been limited by energy limitation of energy density of lithium batteries. So usually it takes 500 watt-hours per kilogram to fly a plane for 200 miles, but existing lithium batteries can only deliver 200. At the same time, existing fuel cells have necessary level of energy density and they potentially could work, but they fall short of specific power requirements because modern vehicles require not less than 1500 watts per kilogram, but existing fuel cells at system level can only deliver 600. It means there is no power source which could meet requirements of air transportation market. So we solve this issue by building the next generation hydrogen fuel cell system with both high specific power and high energy density, exactly what aircraft designers are looking for. And that is conferred by our reaction. Right now, our company have more than $8 million in with two payable customers. These customers also placed pre-orders more than 600 aircraft starting from 2023 with total amount more than $150 million revenue. And we have a bunch of LOIs. So if all that will be executed, it could generate revenue up to $500 million in 5 and up to $9 billion in 10 years. So we have a great team which we are working on that topic. We are no strangers to hydrogen fuel cell technology, and we are ready to solve any issue with fuel cell development. So briefly explain how that is possible to achieve so game-changing energy performance. So we're using our own innovations, which we develop in-house, like bipolar plates, highly conductive corrosion-resistant materials. We replaced low-temperature membrane and is using right now high-temperature membrane that dramatically increase efficiency of cooling. But the core innovation is a new system architecture, which we call turbo air-cooled system that efficiently utilized compressed air for both cooling and oxygen supply. So simply put, we increase pressure inside the fuel cell, the oxygen in the electrochemical reaction, and that allowed us to dramatically increase power output. So you can see we are focusing on efficiency of cooling. That's raising temperature of the electrochemical reaction because the high temperature membrane allowed us to exclude commonly used liquid coolant, humidifier, heat exchanger, pumps, and etc., which usually provide the system a lot of parasitic mass. So that is why we can achieve specific power more than 2000 watts per kilogram because our system is 3 times larger in comparison with standard one. So our product addresses different market segments, logistic drones, air taxis, eVTOLs, and different types of electric passenger fixing planes. And for each segment right now, we have a strategic partner and the payable agreements and developing systems based on their specification, based on specification of our customers. So, and just to understand, explain where we are now. In December of last year, we built a fully operational prototype, and let's say 4 months ago, and recently we finished our testing program, and data we received absolutely matched and correlates with our expectation and mathematical model. So now we are designing the full-scale system, and based on our agreement with our customer, we have to deliver full-scale system for the real flight in 2022. So now we are fundraising. We're raising $5 million for our first equity round, and that money will be spent for building manufacture site and hire additional engineers because we have to accelerate our development. So we have technology, proven track record, and a team that has the potential to revolutionize the multi-billion-dollar aviation industry globally. Thank you very much for your attention. Yeah, I'm ready to answer your questions. Thank you.
All right, so let's pass over to Gary. Go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, hi, Scott. Let me just get the slides up. You should see that coming through now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so a little bit about the company. Our company vision is transforming subsurface discovery. We're in the space of providing intelligence of the Earth's subsurface. And really, that's a pretty broad category. It's an infinite vision we have. And really what we've done is zoom down our vision into our medium-term mission, which is to deliver subsurface intelligence that accelerates the world's transition to low-impact mining. So with a lot of verticals we can operate in, mining is the one that we've selected. The values we operate the company under is we're driven by industry, informed by science, inspired to create, wired to deliver, unified as a team, personally accountable, and boldly ambitious, exceptionally human. Now, the problem we're trying to solve, it has two sides. The mining industry over the last 10 years has invested over $200 billion globally on mineral exploration. And for that $200 billion investment, the industry returned 109 billion of economic reserves. That's a minus 45% return on investment. And that's a pretty broken business in my language. Now, so that's one side of the problem. That's the economic side of the problem. The environmental side of the problem is the world is waking up to the need to shift to renewable energy sources. And so metals like copper, cobalt, nickel, etc. are in extremely high demand. And the World Economic Forum projects that there's a 500% increase required of those sort of minerals to support the energy transition. And so the mining industry has a double-edged sword. They have to improve the economics. They also have to deliver more minerals, and they have to reduce that delivery, the sustainable impact of that delivery. So let me show you how our technology helps mining companies. This is an illustration from a customer we've been working with in the US, and it shows how we allow the customer to avoid expensive drilling activity. And that today is the very prominent way that the industry searches for new minerals. This example, the picture on the left, shows you an area of interest. It's actually a copper nickel site that this is taken from. And it shows you in the blue dots the number of drill holes that the customer is invested in to try and determine where the deposit is. And those drill holes cost anywhere from $200 a meter to $1,200 a meter. And what our technology does, we put borehole detectors down, and we've illustrated the three red dots, the three boreholes we would deploy detectors down. And what we effectively do is prevent the mining company investing, in this example, in 27 boreholes. And so where they would typically spend $6.4 million US to explore this area, the combination of our technology together with those three drill holes is a $1.4 million investment, leaving the customer a very tidy return on investment of $5 million. And obviously there below you see some of the economic benefit, the non-economic benefits, more the environmental, carbon reduction, water usage reduction, etc. And then finally, really where we want to take this capability is we're very focused on delivering a step change in return on investment for exploration companies. But ultimately, we can help them improve their search for and inventory of critical minerals. We solve another number of other problems along the mine value chain. Definitely part of building the green supply chain from an ESG perspective. And the long-term vision, Scott, is to help mining companies mine without the mine. And the best analogy I can give you is the medical X-ray. Before the medical X-ray, it was a case of having to have open heart surgery when there was a heart issue. Whereas today, because the medical profession has the imaging capability to precisely locate and intervene in injuries and ailments, that's enabled keyhole surgery to be possible. Well, the same analogy applies in mining. Our technology enables mining companies to image and really well understand the subsurface in a way that allows them to execute minimally invasive mining. And really, from a global perspective, that's the journey we want mining to be on, and that's the journey we're helping mining to get on.
All right, so let me start with you, Gary, and then I'll have a follow-up question also for Alex as well. So, Gary, when I think about a analogy, if somebody's trying to get their blood drawn and the nurse or the technician has their eyes folded and they're randomly poking you, that's not only going to hurt a lot, but it's also going to cause a lot of harm. I think that's kind of metaphorically what we're doing in terms of mining. And even though we talk about electrification and renewables, I mean, at the end of the day, we still need raw materials from silicon, cobalt, lithium, and all the other precious materials that's needed. So can you, again, just kind of re-summarize, kind of plain language in terms of how is this really helping the environment? And of course, you already talked about the return on investment and the cost savings for the mining companies.
Yeah, so I think there's an immediate direct environmental benefit of our technology, Scott, and that is the reduction of those drill holes. We're drilling into the earth. It's invasive. It's high cost. It's harmful to the environment from a carbon perspective, but also from a water usage and potential contamination perspective. So drilling is not good for the environment, and we immediately dramatically reduce the amount of drilling required. Then if I ask you to think about a mine today, an open cast mine today, hugely invasive on not just the environment, but on society and the local community, etc. We're working with a couple of clients to help them pinpoint the location of minerals under the Earth's surface. And they are working with other companies who have developed minimally invasive extraction tools and processes. So without disturbing the whole Earth's surface and creating a large scar on the landscape, mining companies are already starting to be able to go in and extract with minimal impact the minerals they want without that level of destruction. And clearly, when you think about the system level change that creates, I mean, we're talking about a quantum leap in environmental responsibility for mining.
And again, the caveat, we talked about this before, which is that your company is not looking to go into space exploration anytime soon. However, it just kind of helps to illustrate that when you're talking in the context of, let's say, the lunar terraforming, moon mining, for instance, or astro mining, you don't want to. You already have finite resources, time and energy. You don't want to randomly try and look for certain minerals on the moon or on an asteroid blindly. So this is really giving you that X-ray vision that currently they lack. Going back to you, Alex, I think in terms of aviation, there's a lot of interesting that's happening around electrification, but of course, that has a lot of issues around density and flight longevity and so forth. So hydrogen becomes essential. Can you talk about what does yours only work within hydrogen, or does it still applicable in an electric hydrogen type of a system? And what do you think kind of the more near-term types of solutions that you see in the aviation market?
So this is a good question. If you're talking about what kind of fuel should be used in electric aviation, so as I said, lithium batteries will not work because they have a low energy density, and this is a fundamental limitation. So right now, everyone uses kerosene, and in comparison with hydrogen, hydrogen has 4 times higher specific potential, specific power. Right, I mean, in terms of energy which you can receive from hydrogen. The main question is how to exhaust that energy through the electrochemical reaction. So that is why we are focusing on fuel cells. This is the best solution how to get that energy converted from chemical statement to electric. So that is why with the fuel cell and efficiency of fuel cell is very, very important and crucial part for hydrogen, future hydrogen aviation. That is why our company is specifically focusing on specific power, cooling efficiency, and overall efficiency of the system.
Now, I think we had also talked about the fact that your system is efficient in terms of performance enough to actually not only support the flight, but also all the electronic equipment as well. Because typically in, let's say, another alternative or a substitute solution, you not only have the hydrogen, the main chassis or the engine piece, you also need dedicated batteries just for the electronic systems and monitoring and sensors. Yours is able to support all of it, all right?
Exactly. So the main idea of high specific power, one is the benefit. If you're using the system with high specific power, you can exclude buffer battery at all from the system. And the hydrogen fuel cell, which we are manufacturing, we are designing right now, will cover all regions of operation of the aircraft: takeoff, landing, cruise, and of course, will provide you a necessary power level of for your convenient electronics, I would say, like, right? So that is why hydrogen fuel cell becomes our hydrogen fuel cell become as the primary source of power for any aircraft. And by the way, it's a excluded buffer battery from the system design, lithium buffer battery. So allows our customers proceed very easily certification process, because again, hydrogen fuel cell becomes as the main primary power source for aviation, for aircraft.
Yep. Now, I know both of you, to some extent, have already shared a little bit about key milestones that both of you have achieved. But if you could elaborate a little bit, as well as the kind of market reaction and market traction that you're seeing.
Yeah, sure. I'll maybe take that one first, Scott. So yeah, we've been on a 10-year journey. We're a spin out from Triumph, Canada's leading subatomic physics laboratory. And so we've been on a 10-year journey with field trials with major mining companies and really developing our hardware and software capabilities. And so this month, we are in the final step of our hardware development program, which is really taking the original detectors, which are pretty much the size of a large table, the weight of a small car. And this month, for the first time, we will deploy the new detectors, which are borehole format. And so they're 9 centimeter diameter and 3 meters long. And so that's a 50x miniaturization process that we've been through over the last 10 years. And they will be deployed in the field this month for the very first time. So that's a world first for muon detectors. And so that's a major milestone with us. In terms of market traction, I'd say that an anticipation verging on excitement that we're feeling from our clients in the space. There hasn't been a major technological breakthrough in mineral exploration for many, many years. And so there's eager anticipation. And in fact, we're working with BHP, which is the world's largest mining company. We're partnering with them in Australia to really deploy our new detectors in a nickel sulfide exploration setting at their Nickel West mine in Western Australia. And so working with somebody of the caliber of BHP gives us a lot of great feedback into the product. And obviously what we're pretty excited about is the adoption, scale and ramp up that they would offer us as a company. Obviously we've got to prove the new detector works as promised, but we're very confident that we're on the verge of a major breakthrough, Scott.
Great. And how about you, Alex?
So we also have 2 significant achievements in product development and market traction. So in product development, I said that we built our first operational prototype, and that was a very, very important step for our company, because there are a lot of technological and fundamental validations are concentrated at that prototype. So, and we validated all our data with our expectations and mathematical models. So, and we received all confirmations that yes, we are doing right things. So it's absolutely fundamental risks for the project. Right now, we are on the engineering stage, the scaling from small scale system to bigger one, but it's not fundamental modification. Actually, it is the same system, but built in another 4 factors. So in terms of market traction, we have 2 payable customers with more than $8 million agreements. We have pre-orders, have LOIs, and right now we are speaking also with few top-tier guys in aviation industry, and hope until the end of this year we will execute something with them. So a lot of achievements of our company, and seems that we have everything to be successful and change revolution and make a revolution in aviation industry.
Very good. Tell us about your existing investors on the cap table, and who they are and why they have chosen to invest in your companies.
Question to me? Okay, so ready?
Please go.
Okay. So we our previous round we invited to participate angels and micro seeds. So a few famous persons also join us, like Jordan Levy, who until recently was a member of partner at SoftBank. So they support our company and help to develop us, provide their network to get access to funds for our following rounds. And we closed with them about right now, until now, we closed a few three safe rounds with them. And what I would like to emphasize is the high rate of conversion that my investors participated each round I announced. So that is why our investors strongly believe in what we're doing. And right now, as I said, we are speaking with a few top tier funds. So, and we are considering right now with them a few term sheets with a good condition. So I think we will close the round very, very soon.
Okay.
Yeah, for us, Scott, we're still an early stage company, so we did our seed round last year. That seed round, we have a number of Canadian angel and venture firms. We also have a publishing company out of the UK as an investor on the cap table today. And so we're anticipating doing our Series A over the next 12 to 18 months.
Terrific. All right, so we're going to open it up to the investor community to see if they have any questions. So please go ahead and click on the raise hand button. I believe it's on the bottom, and we'll go ahead and bring you onto the stage if you have questions. In the meantime, in your chat window, there are two links to startup evaluation form. One for HyPoint, that's with Alex, and then Ideon Technologies for Gary. So if you could go ahead and fill that out, that would be terrific. So while folks are asking questions or filling out the startup evaluation form, let me go ahead and see with my questions in terms of, so for both of you, what are some of the kind of next major milestones? I know, Alex, you started to kind of talk about that. Gary, you talked about the significant miniaturization over the last 10 years. What are the next kind of the 1 to 2 year time horizon product or market development that you need to hit?
So my plans is to build system and deliver it on time to one of our customers for the real flight in 2020. So in terms of customer development, I'm going to conquest one of the top tier guy from aviation industry. That is my plan for this year. And so in product development, as I said, it's a full-scale system. And the third is like an internal development of the company. So we have to hire a few stars in engineering field for acceleration of our product development and the customer pipeline development too.
Okay.
Yeah, and for me, Scott, we've got these first few trials to get under our belt over the course of the next few months. We ramp up production in the fall. We're going to produce 100 detectors this year. And then really our work between now and the end of the year, Scott is developing the plan for much larger scale production for going into next year. And in parallel to that, we're standing up a go-to-market organization to really be able to hit the ground running as we get production ramped up over the next period of time.
Perfect. Sounds great. So again, for those that are listening or watching, please go ahead and fill out the startup evaluation form for HyPoint and Ideon Technologies. And again, I want to thank our startups here. Last chance to just share anything that's important that you feel like you haven't quite covered just yet. So we'll start with you, Gary.
Mineral exploration needs a breakthrough, and 10 years of scientific research and field trials with customers has got us on the edge of a major global breakthrough. And so we're very excited to be bringing this technology to the mining industry.
And Alex.
So I also happy to be the part of different projects in hydrogen innovations and zero CO2 emission aviation specifically. There's a big movement right now in the industry, and I'm happy that HyPoint is a part of such projects. So I think we can bring a lot of value to the market. So we start to do so, and we'll continue doing so next decade, next 10 years.
Please give them a round of applause.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.